The amount of old Diddy footage I've been reviewing recently is outrageous, and I've seen so many instances where he's like, oh, no homo, man, or telling his friends to stay far away from him because he doesn't want to come off gay. Yet there are so many men coming forward against this monster. The floodgates have opened, and Diddy is being sued left and right by people who claim he essayed them, including a handful of men. Diddy has now been named in 6 separate lawsuits filed by Tony Busby, that Texan lawyer that we talked about recently, who says he's representing up to 120 alleged Diddy victims. And it looks like 4 of the 6 cases he's filed so far feature male accusers. I'm telling you guys, coming from someone who is gay, it's always the guys who make the jokes about the gay guys or who get uncomfortable around men who are ultimately gay. So if your boyfriend is over here making these terrible jokes about gay people, then sis, you might want to check his phone again.
People have inundated our office with reports of times that they were with P. Diddy.
Now I want to know what the process is like. Now I'm all getting all tripped up. What is the process like when they vet these people? Like, how do they know if they're telling the truth? Because granted, while I do think a lot of these people are Diddy's victims, I wonder if there are some bad apples out here just trying to get some clout.
It's been extraordinary, just the sheer numbers of people that have reported.
In one suit, a man says that he was working for Echo Clothing back in 2008 and knew Diddy through his work. As Diddy was developing and marketing Sean John, a competing brand, he said he ran into Diddy and Diddy's 3 bodyguards in the stockroom of the Macy's flagship store in New York City back in May 2008. He claims that someone pistol whipped the back of his neck and caused him to fall to his hands and knees. He claims that Diddy approached him and told him to suck his D word and then brutally orally R-worded him. He also, it looks like Diddy said, suck my D Echo, which it's like he was like almost attacking this man because he works for this competitor clothing brand, saying, suck my D, you brand. But what the hell's going on with these 3 bodyguards surrounding Diddy, making sure that he can do this to this innocent man and get away with it? In another suit, a man claims that he was hired to work security for Diddy's 2006 white party. Oh no, here he goes. Where he believes he consumed a drink laced with GHB and or ecstasy. GHB is actually a clear liquid like oil kind of drug, which is known as roofie. If you guys are not familiar, I've actually seen GHB before. It's a weird, oily, it doesn't have a smell, so you wouldn't know, but it does have a taste. So if you were to, again, tip to the ladies out there or men, especially if you're in an environment like a Diddy environment, if your drink tastes a little bit off, throw it away. Spend the 15, and sometimes you're in LA, the $20 to just go get another one. It's not worth it. It's way too easy for people to get their hands on this stuff. I've even heard of people going on Amazon and buying pool cleaner, which is actually disguised as pool cleaner, but it's actually GHB. I mean, this stuff is everywhere. He says Diddy forced him into a van, overpowered him, and essayed him. The man claims Diddy inserted his wiener into the man's bum, and so this is deep. He says the alleged R word resulted in Diddy's bodily fluids. God, his like babies dripping out of this man. Okay, I can't. We move on to the next page. Another man suing Diddy claims that he went to a Diddy party in October 2021, so not even long ago, where he became disoriented after consuming 1 drink. He says the room started spinning, and the next thing he remembers was being in the bedroom paralyzed. He said at least 3 men essayed him through the back and other forced acts. He distinctly recalls seeing a naked Diddy above him at one point during the assault. Now the 4th lawsuit, holy crap, we're going through so much like deep and dark stuff so quickly. It's exhausting. The 4th lawsuit is from a man who claims he was only 16 years old when he was invited to Diddy's 1998 white party in the Hamptons, where he says they snapped a photo together, which we actually do have that photo. We'll put it on the screen. He says Diddy took an interest in him and took him into a more private area to chat, where Diddy told him he had the right look for the music industry and could be made into a star with Diddy's help. Here is this picture where it looks so eerie. You could see there's not too many people in the background. Here's this guy and Diddy, a predator, just getting ready to pray. Also, I think it's interesting how he's resting his hand on his shoulder. Any like body language experts out there, like, can you explain what does a fist mean? Like, is that kind of like an assertion of power almost? You know what's wild? You could be walking down the street or headed to the grocery store, and then bam, you're in an accident. Suddenly you're dealing with injuries, bills, and an insurance company that's doing everything in its power to give you the bare minimum. It's gotta feel so frustrating. Insurance companies always seem to pull the same tricks, offering you the lowest settlement possible. But here's where Morgan & Morgan steps in and changes the game. Morgan & Morgan isn't just another law firm. They are America's largest injury law firm, with 1,000 attorneys and offices in each state ready to fight for you. You don't have to deal with those insurance companies alone anymore because they've got your back. Take this for example. This year, they got a client in Florida at $12 million, way more than what the insurance company was offering. Morgan & Morgan doesn't settle. They will continue to fight until you get what you deserve. And here's the kicker. The whole process is as easy as ordering takeout. You could submit everything from your phone. No need for paperwork marathons or endless appointments. And with Morgan & Morgan, you only pay if you win. So if you've been injured or you know somebody, don't just sit there. You can head over to forthepeople.com/Sloan, or you can check out the link in my description below. It's fast, it's easy, and it's free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan is the team that fights for you because they're for the people. Thank you for sponsoring this video and enjoy. Well, this victim claims that Diddy abruptly told him to drop his pants and expose his privates for inspection, with Diddy saying it was a rite of passage and asking, "Don't you want to break into the business?" He said he succumbed and dropped his pants, exposing his front, and he claimed that Diddy cupped him and held on to his genitals and then squeezed them. Imagine having this man like request you to do this and then try to make it seem like it's normal. Oh, this is the rite of passage into the music industry. This is what you have to do to join the club.
The new civil lawsuits, all filed by anonymous accusers, allege attacks between 1995 and 2021, including at a department store stockroom, inside an event space bathroom, and at Combs's famous white parties in the Hamptons, where a then 16-year-old looking to break into the music industry says Combs took this picture with him in 1998 before things took an unexpected turn for the worst. Combs allegedly demanded that he needed to drop his pants and then molested him, asking, "Don't you want to break into the business?"
So weird. Like, what is like Diddy saying? Like, "Hey man, you gotta drop your pants." And the guy's like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, you just have to. This is how you're gonna make it." A news story reports that a college freshman had to take her clothes off under a threat of violence, and once she was undressed, she found Diddy forcing himself onto her, fondling her, touching her, and then eventually R-wording her, all while she was begging him to stop. The Bad Boy Records founder is being sued by a woman in Tennessee who claims that she was only 19 years old and a freshman in college in 2004 when she was invited to Diddy's photo shoot across the street from her college campus in Brooklyn, New York. According to the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, the woman says that she was flattered and excited to be invited to a celebrity photo shoot. She went with one of her girlfriends, where she says they met Diddy and were invited to an after party in the Manhattan area. The woman says she and her friend agreed to go to the party, and they were taken to the hotel by a member of Diddy's entourage. There's the trafficking. And then when they got to the hotel suite, they tried to mingle with guests and drinking and listening to music, but instead they were grabbed and taken to a separate room. She says the guy who took her to the room said that they were going to go into this room because they know what they were here for. When she's probably like, "Wait, what do you mean know what we're here for?" Like, "We're here because we were invited." But he's like, "Oh, you know what you're here for." Like, kind of insinuating that they know they're about to get attacked, which is so sick. I think all of Diddy's accomplices should be locked up as well, because they were part of this bigger project of trapping people in these situations. In the court documents, the woman says that she and her friend were locked inside a room with Diddy. She says that he gave them drinks and told them to do cocaine that he had prepared for them, which is a huge red flag. Maybe not the first red flag, probably, being taken into the room and told, "Oh, you know what you're here for," probably was the first red flag, but they did not know what they were getting into. They did not expect this. She says she didn't want to do the drugs, and Diddy continued to get more and more aggressive with her and her friend, to the point where he began touching them without consent. When they resisted, Diddy ordered her friend to start doing things orally and threatened to unalive them if they did not. The woman says her friend complied, and she begged Diddy to let them leave, to which he did not agree. In the suit, the woman says Diddy turned his sights to the girl, the one who's filing this suit, and forced her to undress under a threat of violence, allegedly forcing himself on her and then harming her. She says the door to the room was ultimately opened. She believes it was due to her cries, and the security guard who brought them into the room came and asked if everything was all right, and that's when her friend bolted out of the room. The woman says she couldn't escape, though, because Diddy was still on top of her, so her friend just left her, probably because they're all in survival mode. The woman who's suing under the name Jane Doe says that Diddy got off of her to talk to a security guard, and then when the men left the room, Diddy told her to stay, threatening to kill her if she left. She says she sat in the dark room by herself for about 30 minutes until a different security guard came and told her she could leave. She got her things and left immediately and called a taxi back to her college dorm. Diddy's Bad Boy Corporation is being sued as well because Tony Busby said that this corporation and their employees were fully aware and enabled all of this, which is 100% true. Tony revealed that some of the alleged victims include children. He says that laws are being brought under the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, which allows these victims to file older claims. I mean, if someone was 16 years old at the time, they probably weren't aware of what rights they had in that moment. So I think they should go and file, especially with allegations as violent as these. Tony said, "We'll let the allegations in the filed complaints speak for themselves. We expect to be filing many more cases over the next several weeks, naming Diddy and other defendants." Now, of course, Diddy's team is doing everything in their power to try to combat these allegations, with a statement saying, "In court, the truth will prevail, that Diddy has never essayed anyone, adult or minor, man or woman," which is a pretty big statement for someone like him in that position to be making. But it looks like Diddy's family could care less that he's locked behind bars. Actually, his son Christian, who is Diddy's third son and eldest child with the late Kim Porter, was filmed living it up at the club with his girlfriend Raven Tracy. The 26-year-old was focused on Tracy in the clip, during which he teased her with a shot of liquor as the pair danced closely and kissed on the dance floor. Father like son. Kind of scary. Oh my God, he looks so much like him too. I wouldn't want to be involved with this family. Ugh, a drunk mess, girl. Oh, they are sloppy-yana, huh? Sloppy. Oh, and look at him. His dad is literally a nasty monster, and he is as happy as can be. The club clip was posted 2 days after Christian, along with the rest of his siblings, showed up to court in New York City to support his father, who blew kisses at his kids during his court appearance. And look at the happy family going to support their father. It really, what a bunch. Wow. And the two daughters too, they look like they can care less. Christian, for his part, was heavily criticized in the comments of this video, saying this isn't what he should be doing with what his father's dealing with at this very moment, especially feeding that woman liquor and then pushing her down to make her dance with him. Another person wrote, "Partying when your entire family is in shambles? That's wild." Kind of reminds me of like when the Menendez brothers like killed their parents and then went on a shopping spree. It looks like it's going to be a while until we hear some updates, because it looks like trial will go down in April or May of next year. With all this news coverage swirling around Diddy, a lot of people have gone on to his mother to ask her what does she think of her son's behavior, and she's just as bad as the lawyers. His mom has weighed in on her son's legal troubles, stating that while he might not have been completely honest about the whole Cassie situation, that doesn't automatically make him guilty when it comes to these other allegations. Janice Combs spoke out about the situation to Local 10 News on Sunday. She's devastated over the allegations against her son, saying that he was judged not by the truth, but by a narrative created out of lies. Well, if you're going to blame my channel for that type of stuff, then I'll take it, because I don't think it's lies, and I think your son is a monster, and you're clearly in denial. Janice added, to bear witness to what seems like a public, killing of my son before he had the opportunity to prove his innocence is pain too unbearable to put into words. She also addresses that shocking video of Diddy attacking Cassie, saying, sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside the norm or too complicated to be believed. Well, that is a whole mouthful of nothing but excuses. She said that she thinks that this settlement with Cassie set off a domino effect, leading to all this drama. Not drama. She firmly believes her son deserves his day in court to prove his innocence after being hit with serious charges. Janice stressed her son is not the monster they've painted him out to be, and that she will have his back, so she's not going anywhere. And the comments have a lot to say. This person commented, "Girl, you might want to hush before we start wondering what happened to him as a child to make him this way." Which is such a great comment, because I don't think Diddy was born a monster. Something led him to this point. Another person wrote, "Most mothers don't hold their sons accountable and enable their behavior, because how are you saying this after seeing that video of him harming Cassie? Ma'am, best thing to do was to keep quiet." Another person added, "Mamas always know, lock her up too. Another person wrote, Jeffrey Dahmer's mom said the same, and this person added, and so did Ted Bundy's mother. I mean, if we find out that Diddy had harmed people, like to the point where they are unalived, then we could have like a rapper turned serial killer on our hands. This story is so insane, and you guys know I'm going to be here every step of the way to give you guys the updates. Check out my TikTok for more updates. I've been putting a lot of work onto TikTok and Instagram Reels, so check me out at SloanHooks, and I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye, guys.